Hello and welcome everybody. We've got a very potentially interesting game for you. Early lore, which is what's going to be very clear of who exactly we are playing here. It is Poseidon being driven today by Tsompboy, a high level player right around 1400 right now. So Poseidon is the god of the sea and horses. Even though I think it's just God of the Sea. I think it's just God of the Sea in this game. Cavalry and economy is his focus. Markets more so in the economy sector of things, mostly because of his cheaper stables and markets and improved exchange rates. And of course, just faster move speed for anything mounted because he is the god of horses secretly. He also has the super interesting power of malicious spawn from raised buildings, his own raised buildings, which can make his defenses like surprisingly strong. It can actually you can run into a lot of games where you think you're attacking Poseidon, it's all going well, and then just like enough malicious spawn to slow you down enough that they're able to pull everything back. It can be very, very interesting and frustrating at the same time. So over here in red we have Fox, currently playing as Isis, currently not elevating the granary, but empowering is the word I was looking for. So Fox is playing Isis over here, as I said. Isis is the goddess of magic and healing with a focus of technology in the game. It gives a free +5 pop for every town center or citadel center, so not village centers. You gotta place them down on proper settlement locations. But cheaper upgrade costs. Obelisks are at like half price and are built faster, so you do see a lot of the time, a lot of obelisks coming around. I wonder if, yeah, we're already seeing a number of them go down on this map. And then monument shield against enemy god powers if they are empowered, which is always super nice, especially since then those empowered monuments also will heal the surrounding units and generate more favor. You do tend to see, like, I'm actually surprised that we don't already see a monument down. A lot of Isis players will, oh, we do already see one down, but not close enough to like really be helping out here. That's interesting. We see a lot of Isis players immediately empowering the monument, even though directly empowering the granary is better for your food production. It is incredibly nice to just have all of that extra general production and favor gain going into age 2, as we do have Flood of the Nile pre-queued, again super common across Isis players. But I guess he's possibly looking at doing that instead of going up. We just hit 400 food, so Isis could be going up, but instead is going to grab Flood of the Nile first. Oh, I guess Temple had not been finished. That's my fault. I'm supposed to be casting this game and paying attention. So Temple is only just now being finished, as Tsompboy is done with age 2, has grabbed Hermes, which can pair super nicely with Poseidon since Hermes does provide extra move speed for cavalry, or can with his upgrade, and has the just super excellent ceasefire. Always an incredibly nice ability in general. What are we bringing in here from Theseus? Hecate's Torch. God power cooldown time minus 10%. That is pretty nice. It'll depend on what he goes later. Typically, people won't use ceasefire that often in a game, even though it can really save certain encounters. So it's probably not going to go heavily on that. It's obviously a lot nicer on somebody like Zeus for the Greeks. Bolt coming out more often is just an absolute pain. So we'll see who he goes for age 3. Granary should be coming down. It's an unfortunate glitch we get sometimes. As you can see, like, the foundation was trying to get placed, but it was, the units were in the way, but they weren't like quite moving out of the way quick enough, so it was just sort of causing everything to flicker and nothing to get done. It sucks when that happens, but it happens to all pantheons that is not like Egypt specific. As we do see Tsompboy rotating around. I mean, this, I guess, is a big reason why also people go Hermes, is of course you get centaurs, which are, even though they've been nerfed, they're still pretty strong and they're great for early game pressure thanks to that AoE damage from that arrow rain that they can use. Priest just hanging out could be useful at helping to push this centaur out, as we're going to get an armory down. And I guess I never talked about it. Bast was chosen for Isis over here. The Eclipse power is fairly nice. If she had been empowering the monument, we see a lot of Isis going Bast for the empowered monument play into some extra Sphinxes, although some do consider Anubis to be better for that. And I wonder if they're going to disturb this armory. I don't think they're going to get there quite in time. No, okay, they did get the villager off, but the fact that it was put up right next to this watchtower did allow him to jump in super quickly, so they didn't really end up doing that much against that armory. Slowed it down slightly, which would only really help if, say, Tsompboy was going to be going up here soon, which it doesn't look like he's looking at, as we got a lot of good cavalry upgrades coming out. Medium cavalry, straight into Lord of Horses, which is the Hermes one I was talking about. Or is that a Poseidon thing? I may be getting confused. I kept thinking that that's a Hermes power, Lord of Horses. Maybe it's from Poseidon. And then Spirited Charge. This is, okay, so this is the Hermes one, increasing cavalry and centaur speed and attack damage. Super nice. I was just a little bit confused there. Hitting the temple. Okay, if he had been on the villagers slightly quicker, he could possibly have gotten a lot more damage out. And I know we're staring at Fox a lot here, but this is where the action is currently all going down. Nice little wall is going to keep his gold safe on that side. And the fact that everything's this far apart is going to keep the gold safe on this side, although the temple is going to go down. That's not going to be the biggest impact, as Fox was not planning to go heavy myth unit production. So he's not going to terribly miss that temple. It's not going to be the biggest thing, as Nephthys is already coming up. Oh, that's just Spirited Charge. Okay. Nephthys is coming up. So we are actually going to get the first H3 coming out of Fox, as Tsompboy did focus far more on this early pressure and was not able to get quite enough done with it that he could actually keep the possible turnaround coming for Fox. I don't know why. I thought I saw red going on up here, like he had taken some like hunt way up here, which would have been very, very cool to see. Anyways, Nephthys is coming in as also getting Winged Messenger. Further speed and line of sight to the Pegasus, which we see some players just not ever even bothered to get. I mean, Pegasus is a great unit, but it's not quite as good as, like, say, the Ravens for Odin. Extra TC coming in there, and I bet we're not going to see the TC coming in anytime soon for Fox, which I guess that might not be true. With Migdal coming down, that could allow for this TC to be grabbed safely. Pegasus, I don't think, actually spotted the Migdal. No, he will not know that Migdal's going down. Not until he potentially comes back in with his units a bit later. I'm going to leave it on this view just for a bit so we can see if this Migdal ever gets uncovered. Units are just kind of hanging out for a bit as he is distracted looking around the base with Pegasus. And that can be one of those nice things, I guess, to the extra line size speed. It did allow him to get both into the base and then back out without immediately dying, which can always be great. Going to start pulling from all this extra hunt, tons of safe hunt back there, so that's nice to see. And Tsompboy is just checking to see if anything surprising has been grabbed or if any surprising expansions has been taken. I really wish he would come and grab this. I mean, I know it's just wall hit points. I'm saying that like I checked it earlier. I didn't. You saw what I've been casting. You know that I didn't check that earlier. But this is just wall hit points. But it's still not a bad relic. I mean, especially if he wants to start trying to hem in Tsompboy, as he's going to now see with the scout that there's enough units there, but will still not know that all of this little base has been thrown up right here, as Barracks is going to go down for a bit of forward pressure. And Fox is fully back into this. I'd love to see him take the second TC, as Tsompboy is getting farther and farther ahead in the Vil regard. But still, it's nice to see him coming back as just so much chariot archers. Oh, so many chariot archers. Now, Greeks probably do have one of the best times dealing with like tons and tons of chariot archers, I think. they can get back into them much quicker than other people necessarily can. The Hippius, even though it's, I mean, the Hippius is like the perfect unit against it, since it's good against ranged soldiers and siege engines, and because it's cavalry, it can rush into the back super well, and chariot archers aren't noted to be great against cavalry. So that and the centaurs being able to send a bunch of ranged fire into the chariot archers, as long as the Greeks bring any sort of front line to bear to just keep their ranged units safe for a bit, they can typically deal with this fairly well. Just now getting the watchtower upgrade. I mean, I guess it wasn't needed till now. He didn't actually like start getting pressed until this moment. As we're gonna see Afro just now coming in. I'm actually a little surprised that we didn't see like ancestors getting thrown out just to get a little more eco damage. They wouldn't have probably done a lot more other than just set Tsompboy back a bit. As yeah, he can't take these fights right now. There's too many units. As much as I was saying Hippius is interesting, I almost feel like he shouldn't be doing this. This many units could deny these stables if he really wanted to. It looks like he just won't bother with it. This will, of course, allow the extra Hippius production and really allow him to start dealing with this. Although the siege tower is now coming in. Ceasefire used. And that's one of those strong things about ceasefire. He's just going to reset this battle, allow him to start building up a little bit more military. Although these are probably all going down. The moment that things restart, there are these two siege towers just both hanging out right here. They've got enough units around them. Although the siege towers are weak to hacking, which again, the Hippiuses are going to be great for dealing with. Really, the Hippiuses in general right now are the units that Tsompboy needs to be focusing on. As minions come out to help this push, alright, that's obviously going to probably seal this. Ooh, siege tower couldn't quite get in on the TC, unfortunately. Is he still going to try? He is, but the Vils can block. The Vils will do a good job of blocking, which will keep that TC alive. Very nice use of that. Tsompboy did have to fully retreat from these minions, as he doesn't have a lot that he can do to help deal with these myth. Those are probably going to clean up a bit more military, but their main use is just keeping Tsompboy locked over there, as Fox is able to then just start working on this whole area. And unfortunately, the Hippius is slightly coming out. Any more needed to not be canceled. So I'm surprised that one even was able to get out with that much health. Now, in some ways, I mean, he went up to Afro, which is always great. He was able to take out some of the units. Going Apollo could have been more interesting here, as Apollo would have allowed the temples to start healing. I guess Tsompboy didn't know that he would be this much on the back foot, and so didn't know that he would need healing to this extent. But it would certainly be helping him a lot here. A lot of Peltis coming out. That's interesting. I mean, Peltis still are counter-ranged, which of course chariot archers are, but they aren't going to help tremendously against the siege towers. I guess he couldn't be producing from the cavalry, so the next best thing was to move over to the military barracks. And I guess he is, well, I was looking at Fox's wood count there. So he doesn't really have anything on food right now, so I guess he can only be producing like peltists or toxotes who are wood-based. He really needs to get on food. He needs to find a way to get on food, I think, because peltist spam is not going to win this for him. He's not going to be able to deal with things, especially now that camel riders are out, which is a nice little switch from Fox. Migdal? Forward Migdal. If that's allowed to go up, which I don't think there's anything Tsompboy can do to actually stop it. That is going to allow Fox to take this corner of the map. Will that range the TC? I don't know if that'll range the TC. I think it'll stop just in front of it. But it'll take out some of these stables, and anything that's left, Tsompboy won't be able to pull from. It wasn't needed to be ranged anyways, as the siege towers are there. I don't think there's a lot Tsompboy could really do to come back at this point. Unfortunately, Fox has like a very good control over this game. And although Tsompboy is now producing a lot more food, his stables are now gone, so he can't get what he needed. Although at this point, Fox has mixed up his units enough with the camel riders and the elephants. He's got a bunch of spearmen running around, which would be the counter to Hippiuses. That Tsompboy really does end up needing to go more of a mixed spread. Still seeing some Hippiuses would be nice. He would probably then want to go for just some Hoplites. Hoplite and Hippius combination with a couple Toxotes could probably do well enough that might be all that he really needs. As we're seeing just some more upgrades, which are probably quite needed, coming out over here. Heavy range soldiers and Spirited Charge finally coming in as the next hero gets researched. So Tsompboy certainly is planning to keep fighting. As things did pause here, this is probably a very good idea of just trying to raid. When you got Hippius, that is one of those great things. Oh, Prodromoses. I thought they were Hippiuses for a second. Counter cavalry units. Raiding is super important here to draw back the enemy and try to buy yourself time to get things up. Although you need enough here at home to defend against multiple siege towers coming in. This should be plenty. As Peltis aren't going to do much, it'd be worth it to just take the Peltis and immediately go over here with them. Same with the Toxotes. It's too much pierce. It's like 90% pierce armor or something on these. Yeah, 90% pierce armor on the siege towers. It's not like worth really throwing your ancient units into them at all. Just do what you can with other units if possible. See, like this, the Toxotes won't necessarily win, but the Peltis are going to absolutely tear through them. War Elephant would be a problem. He's going to have to micro that back. War Elephant has enough health. It doesn't have a ton of pierce armor. 40%. Okay, I thought it was actually 60%. So it's got even less. But at like 500 health, it can take a beating. And the moment it gets in, it's going to do a ton of damage. Unfortunately for him, Fox also was able to get around into the back line and disturb his economy by a lot. Giga the Prodromos is out, which are still going to help. They are counter cavalry. Unfortunately, I mean, at a certain point it is just numbers, but you can see why I think Greeks have such a good job against chariot archers and that sort of spam. Because against any other, even like Vikings, sure you could put in like herdsmen or throwing axemen. Or, what is the thing that comes out of the hill fort? It's another shield unit. Whatever. You could make any of them, but they have a hard time catching up to chariot archers is their big problem. Unlike Prodromos or Hippius. You can see Tsompboy start expanding again as he just kind of ignores this Migdol, which could be rough. Fox could start producing in his Migdol and just not let them out, and then come out with a big sort of clump of military and start doing a lot of damage that way. I guess he could park his Pegasus just a little closer, just outside the range of that, so he might know when they actually get brought out. Centaurs to come out on a little bit more of a raid. Have to be careful, or else the chariot archers will take care of them. As that arrow rain is just simply not going to do a ton versus them. However, they are buying time and keeping this military force busy that Tsompboy was able to push in with this and get a little bit more damage. Thoth just about finished. Age 4, we have Thoth up, so I'm sure that those meteors are just going to get launched right into the base of Tsompboy. There's nothing else that really needs to be done with them. Outside if he wants to try to get somebody back into the eco. It's going to be hard to decide what to target. I mean, are we just seeing? Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're just seeing straight into the base. This might not hit the TC, which destroying all this military production could just cause Tsompboy to decide to end the game. He hasn't done it yet, so he might not. He might decide he can still hold on. But actually taking out the TC would have been way more impactful, as villager count is now low enough that knocking out his ability to produce for a little while could actually get Fox quite a bit ahead. Tsompboy's going to lose a lot of those units as the Phoenix is out. It does a ton of damage to surrounding units. But also, all of these militia are kind of what I was talking about, where it's like, even though you destroyed all these buildings, really all you did was spawn a ton of militia, which are going to be able to take care of this Migdal stronghold. Unfortunately for Tsompboy, I don't think that's going to be enough, as this much military, since he hasn't been producing, he hasn't built up his extra military buildings quick enough. I don't think he'll have enough to actually push his back if Fox wants to try to finish it here. With how low these militia is, that Phoenix alone could probably take care of most of them with 1 to 2 breaths. We're gonna see just how much of that damage it can be. Who isn't targeting the weak ones, unfortunately, is stuck over here trying to defend the siege tower. If he was over in here, he could do a lot more. But Fox does clean that up quite handily. He's got plenty of chariot archers out here, and unless we get some more Prodromos or Hippius out, I don't think Tsompboy is actually going to be able to hold off in any significant way. We are getting a lot of them. It looks like he has queued up plenty of Prodromoses, but then he's just queuing them straight in. There we go. That's smart. Get him back. If he had sent them in one by one, it was going to be a guaranteed loss. So getting them back here like this is good, although he's going to need to also change where he's sending these villagers, otherwise they're all just going to die. This is going to be a tough hold for Tsompboy. He's going to really have to decide what he wants to do. While Fox could take this moment, he's already getting some more upgrades. But he could focus on, well, I guess I was going to say getting more gold, but Tsompboy is still doing a very good job of just like keeping the raids up while he's doing a bit of work of just trying to keep his base alive. Unfortunately, they're getting distracted there and not going straight into the chariot archers, which are the really only unit that they should be caring about, I think, these Prodromoses. More militia, of course, coming out as soon as you actually destroy a village. I mean, not a village, a building. That is going to lead to the loss of those. We do have the siege tower now coming in, which could take care of the town center. Was this just 8 centaurs coming back? We just don't have enough, and there we go. Tsompboy ends up calling it. He held on for a long time. There were like multiple points in this that I feel like most people would have just called it and been like, all right, I can't hold it any longer. But he, especially like once the Migdal came in right here and then took care of all of this over here, I think a lot of people would have called it. Once the meteor rain came out, a lot of people would have called it, but he kept trying. I mean, he kept doing small raids, like getting that gold, the centaurs, to get that gold off. Get those people off of the gold. But ultimately just wasn't able to produce enough with how much his economy had been damaged and ended up losing it. But great game for the both of them. I absolutely love to see ones like that. And that'll be it for this video. So thank you all very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.